So, first video I'm going to do in regards to the Giants Live Cardiff show will be analysing the Deadlift Championship. Now, I would rate it about 4 out of 10, simply because there were a lot of factors that I wasn't very impressed with. Firstly, the lack of athletes that showed up. P-Man, let's be honest, he's had to pull out of at least 4 events now due to visa complications. I have friends in Iran. I know how difficult it is to get a visa. Just don't invite him. He's not going to make it. It's not going to happen, okay? Stop lying to the public and saying it's going to come when it's never going to realistically happen. Other athletes like Asku Karo, this is the second year running now he's withdrawn from the Deadlift Championship. The guy is clearly just using this entry in the Deadlift Championship as a chance to promote his brand and get some free marketing through Giants Live. Let's better screen athletes. Come on, Colin and Darren, screen these athletes. Make sure people you invite to the Deadlift Championship can pull at least £1,000, no problem, and will turn up. Adam Bishop having to withdraw was a freak accident. It was a total freak accident. The guy couldn't help it. It's just one of those things that happens. So that's the first thing. The second thing about it is that there's also athletes that realistically have no chance of lifting 505. Some of these guys, the bottom 3, 400 was their max for the day. Chris van der Linde did well, but couldn't pull 1,000. Evan Singleton had health problems, some sort of complications. Alexi isn't a max deadlifter, to be honest. Gavin never was going to pull 1,000. So that really just leaves 5 people that actually could pull over £1,000, and realistically only 2 people had a chance of pulling 505, and on the day that was shortened down to 1 because it looked like Evan Makrov had no chance of doing it. He was just off from the get-go. So that's my second criticism. There needs to be better athletes turning up. Thirdly, it's ridiculous to have the World Deadlift Championship as an event for athletes doing the whole show, because by the time they got to the second event, they were knackered. All of them were. All of them looked wrecked. They looked totally drained. Their central nervous system, their muscles, they looked fatigued, they looked tired, they looked like their muscles were cramping up. It's absolutely ridiculous to have these athletes pulling over 400 to 475 kilograms and then going on to do another 3-4 events. It's absolutely ludicrous. What they should do is have a World Deadlift Championship show where it's a big deal. You've got the Women's Deadlift Championship, you've got the Men's under 105, you've got the Men's Open, which is the big names who are most likely going to pull over £1,000 plus, and then you maybe have like a disabled championship as well for people with disabilities, so it gives them a chance to be able to showcase their strengths and skills. It needs to be more inclusive. I mean, this is the problem with Giants Live. I feel like it lacks in diversity, in allowing other people to compete, other genders, people with disabilities, people with different weight classes. Not everyone can get up to 160 kilograms, 140 to 190 kilograms of body weight. Some people can't do that. The minority, an absolute minority of the world's population can be over 140 kilograms and not be at risk of dying at any given minute. So it's ridiculous that the majority of the population, their max body weight for most men is about 105 to 110 kilograms within reason. It's still overweight. So why are they just exclusively catering to this complete minority of males who have absolutely no physical impairments? It seems ridiculous, and it seems to be very sort of elitist. And I'm not a liberal by any means, but I kind of feel like Giants Life, Colin and Darren need to get in the 21st century rather than being stuck in the 20th century and the 19th century. It's like, come on guys, there's more opportunities to be more inclusive, and it's another event that we can put on the calendar, another thing that fans can look forward to, the athletes, the commentators, the referees. There's more opportunities for more revenue to come into Giants Live, into the athletes' pockets, into the judges, the commentators. It's just generally a win-win-win, so why would you put the Deadlift Championship on a day when there's other events? It's just stupid. It just doesn't make sense to me. So those are the 3 criticisms that I have of the Deadlift Championship this year. So Reno Heinle won it with 476. He stopped there. He didn't attempt the 505. Pavlo Nakonienski, I pronounce his surname wrong because it's very difficult. He pulled £1,000 comfortably, but I don't think he was really actually going to try and chase the 505 kg deadlift world record. His objective was to win the show, which he did go on and do, so he achieved his objective. Hicksey pulled 1,000, which is fantastic. I'm super proud of him, super pleased for him. He deserved that. That was his max. That was it. That was a good place to stop. Mr. 510 kilograms, Mitchell Hooper pulled £1,000. He seemed very, very confident, overly confident that 505 was on the cards. It was 100%. It was pretty much guaranteed at some points. And then he started changing the narrative closer to the occasion. But when I challenged him on him not being able to deadlift 505, he actually responded on my YouTube video with a comment saying basically seems a bit harsh, a bit out of line, so I seem like I'm out of line. Well, I'm not, because I was right. I was 100% right. You were nowhere close to 505. You didn't have a chance in hell of pulling 505. You wouldn't have pulled 475. So I was right, and this is what I always believe in. And Eddie Hall says all the time, back up your bullshit. If you say you're going to pull 505, you pull 505. You don't just say it to get more followers and more subscribers on YouTube. You back up your bullshit. That's rule number 101 in strongman. So I was a bit disappointed because I really thought he kind of ramped everyone up to believe that he was going to pull 505, and he didn't. And he didn't even bother attempting it. So that was a massive disappointment. He did call me up on it and say, hey, I pulled 475 in the past. Yeah, but that's the past. That was last year, November time. That's not now. That's not the present. What have you done in the last 3 months that proves that you can pull 505 comfortably with ease? It's absolutely 100% on the cards. You had no evidence to prove that. So that's why I called him up on that, and I stand by my claims. So Ivan Makarov pulled 1,000 and jumped to 505, and it didn't work. A bit of a shame. He plateaued at the exact same position, range of motion, as he did the year before. He stopped about knee level, which leads me to believe that his training is just wrong. He needs a coach. He needs to go back to the drawing board, reset everything, because he's basically, in theory, made no progress in 12 plus months. He's actually not made any progress. So when that happens, you need to go back to the drawing board and reanalyze how you're going to deadlift this. Personally, I think he's not heavy enough. I think you need to be at least 400 to 420 pounds to pull over 500 kilograms. I honestly strongly believe that if you're going to pull it conventionally, not sumo, you need to have mass. You need to have mass, especially if you're a strongman and you're training for other events, other lifts. This isn't your 100% focus. You need to have that mass and size as well, and none of these guys had it. Gavin did great. I mean, generally in the past, he hasn't been a very competent deadlifter. To pull 425 with quite comfortably, I think that was a great result. Alexei didn't look comfortable pulling a max deadlift in the 425 range. He didn't look comfortable doing it. He looked a little bit off. I don't think that's how he would have liked to have started the show. He's not much of a deadlift max guy. He's more for reps. That's his stronger point. Evan pulled absolutely amazing 425, but he ended up in the hospital, so that just went downhill for him. And Chris van der Linde did a great job first time at the Giant Slide Deadlift Championship and got 425. Attempted the £1,000, but it didn't work. And the bottom three guys did a great job opening with 400. It's amazing how much the sport has progressed, that's now the opener. And I think Shane Flowers was the man of the match for me, the athlete of the day in the deadlift championship. Lightest guy there. He had a day's notice to get ready, get prepared, come. He lost about 12 kilograms of body weight, and the fact that he went out and pulled 400 is insanely impressive, and I think it's amazing. So Rhino Heinler's deadlift for 476 was good. It moved quickly. This is slow motion, by the way, just in case some idiot didn't know. This is Giants Live official footage. You can access it on their Instagram and Facebook accounts. It was a strong deadlift, very confident off the floor, a confident, strong lockout, getting those hips forward, knees locked out, and waiting for the down command, not holding it any longer than needed. That's exactly what you should do, and lowering the bar with control as well, not just dropping it like Eddie did all those years ago. So that was a really confident 476, which is why I was surprised he didn't attempt anything higher than that. I thought there was more in the tank. This was Makarov stalling on the 505, as you can see, about knee level. It just wasn't going to work. He didn't look comfortable from the get-go. He had to skip the 400 kilogram opener because his suit was too tight and he was cramping. That's just a negative. You know, the only way you can lift 505 on the day is if everything goes to plan. Nothing can go wrong. You're talking about an elite lift here, something that 2 people in the world have been able to do, over 500 kilograms. You can't have any issues on the day. Everything has to go perfectly. He didn't look good. He didn't look strong. He looked a bit fatigued, a bit tired, a little bit off. So I knew as soon as he walked on the platform for the first attempt, he wasn't going to pull it. The Mr. 5'10", Mitchell Hooper, the marathon runner, the incredible athlete, pulled 1,000 pounds. It wasn't as comfortable as I thought it would be for a guy who said that the guy who has pulled 475, claimed he could do 505 or 510 kilograms. I thought that was too much of an effort to lock out 1,000 pounds. It's still very impressive, but I don't think he lived up to his own rep there, his own claims that he made in the past about his proficiency of the deadlift. He doesn't have that good of a technique when you compare it to some of the other guys. But still, I'm very impressed. 1,000 pounds, that's great. He's joined that club. So, Van der Linde did amazing. The guy looks like he's just built for the deadlift. He's got the right size levers. He's got lots of mass on him. He's not too tall. It was a strong 425. However, he didn't get the 1,000 pounds lift, but he will be back in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next time. And I'm sure he'll get 1,000 pounds the next time he lifts at the deadlift championship. Because he looks like a very strong, competent, naturally gifted deadlifter. So my favourites of the day, have to be Hicksy and Shane Flowers. Shane did a great job pulling this 400, just given all the things, being such a light guy compared to the others. He had to work for it, yeah, sure, but he got the lift. This isn't powerlifting. You can do that with the bar if you need to. So Hicksy did great doing 454,000 pounds, and he's such a good deadlifter. He reminds me so much of Eddie and Andy Bolton. His technique is so proficient. Brilliant deadlifter. I really honestly think Graham should consider getting back to the drawing board and saying, right, I'm going for 555. I'm going for 505 in the next 2 years, because he's got such a great technique, and I think it's more than doable. So all in all, 4 out of 5 the deadlift championship. There was definitely some negatives. It wasn't the best one I've ever seen. The 505 is still unattainable, unachievable. It's a great shame. Let's see what the next championship brings. And thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all things strength and power. Thanks for watching.